Hi everyone, happy Black History Month. My name is Imani. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I have another STEM Sundays for you. If you are currently in school, pay attention to this video. And things are a little bit different today. I'm standing up today. I don't know if you could tell.
Adrian!
Tanisha.
I don't know you from nowhere, why are you standing up?
So as a recent engineering grad and having had my fair share of dealing with crazy professors and engineering faculty and staff, this is just me giving you a little pick-me-up video to finish out this semester and navigate the rest of your undergraduate journey. So we're gonna start with classes. Here's the thing about college. College is a platter, a buffet, if you will. You need to take a little bit of something from everything. Don't ever think that you don't need a class, that you won't use a class, because life has a way of humbling you, and you will be in a situation where it's like, dang, I know that, or I know that term, or I remember seeing that on the board, but you weren't paying attention. And now you got to go back and review. So what I'm telling you to do is just pay attention in all of your classes. I was going to come on here and tell you like a list of classes that you should really focus on, but scratch that. Just pay attention in all of your classes. I know it's hard to do. I'm being a hypocrite right now because I definitely didn't, but I want you to be better than me. I'm not telling you to make straight A's. Hopefully you pass your classes the first time you take them, but that can be really difficult. Failing a class, side note, failing a class in college is okay. It's not what your mama wants to hear. It's probably not what you want to hear. Even if you went from being like the shiz naive, the best thing since sliced bread in high school, college will humble you. And it might not even be your fault because these professors be acting a fool, which we'll get into. But just know you are not a failure if you have to take a class again. Back to what I was saying though. Just try. I'm not telling you to make straight A's. I'm telling you to learn. If you haven't been paying attention in your courses, go back and review the material over the summer. Watch YouTube videos, go on Khan Academy, do whatever you need to do to get yourself up to speed, because it truly only builds. And if you start out on the wrong foot, you're just gonna be tripping and tumbling and stumbling all the way to the finish line. And that's not what you want. So with that being said, sometimes it's just not your fault, because these professors are wild. They're wild, okay? I attended the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, and I don't regret my decision at all. And I'm about to air them out just a little bit, but I already graduated. It says it in Aggie Access. I got my degree. They can't do anything to me. All of my fellow COE members, students, and alumni know they act a fool in there, specifically the mechanical engineering department. Ooh, they act a fool in there. I have
Never in my life yelled at a girl like this!
I have never experienced behavior like that before. So during my time at A&T, I really tried to bridge the gap between faculty, professors, and students. I wanted to get to the root of the problems that we were having and see if we could fix it. But what I learned was some of these professors genuinely just want students to fail. And there's a difference between a professor who wants you to work hard for your grade and who wants you to learn and understand the material, and professors that genuinely just want you to fail. And I had a mixture of both, but like, no, some of these professors legitimately just want you to fail. There were professors that had multiple semesters of classes failing. At what point do you take a step back and think, maybe I'm the problem here? Why do you have 3 semesters in a row of classes that are failing to the point where now you are removed from teaching like lecture-based classes and things of that sort? Like, and then there were professors that bragged about only having 3 students in their entire class of 40 pass the class. I had professors brag about using MATLAB to generate the most difficult questions ever for their exam. Like stuff like that. It's just like you're doing too freaking much. It comes down to the root of who they are as a person. You don't need to be in academia. And there are some foreign professors who really just think that American students are lazy and don't work, and they really just want to make a fool out of us. That's just the truth. I had an Iranian professor tell us, our class, that Asian students were the hardest working students ever. And when I tell you, it comes down to the root, like, of who they are as a person, because I literally had a student in my class have a seizure during one of our tests. And do you know that professor had us keep taking the test? Like, I can't make this up. Some stuff I cannot believe happened. We're over here calling 911, running out of the room to get help, trying to pick the person up off the ground, and he's worried about if we're cheating, looking at other people's tests while this commotion is going on. And then after firefighters came in with a stretcher to get the student, he was like, everyone just resume to your tests. And then later on, we had to do like a retest because he came back and had the nerve to say those were some of the worst test scores that I've ever seen before. Well, you think? You think? I've got stories for days. My advisor told me that I was the first student that he advised that made it through all 4 years in 4 years. And don't let me get into advisement, okay? Because these advisors will really set you up for failure. I literally almost didn't even graduate on time over a sophomore level class that I had to skip because I went on a co-op when I was told everything would be fine. And there are so many people that I know that had to stay an extra summer or an extra semester or whatever because their advisor told them one thing and it turned out to be another. And it's unfortunate because there are so many classes that are only offered during one semester or whatever. It's just a mess. And as an advisor, you can't see the future. You might not be 100% right, but like it's the effort part. It's the effort. And you should at least be 75% right. How the do you have somebody 2 years behind schedule? As an advisor, that looks terrible on you. And it's like, who is holding these people accountable? Who is holding these advisors accountable? Who is holding these professors accountable? I really could not understand it because I'm like, how does this not look bad on your part that you have multiple classes failing and multiple students that you're advising dropping out, falling behind X, Y, and Z? So I had to do something about it. From my different experiences in class and leadership position experiences, this is what I learned. And this is what I think you should do. You need to fight for your life. You need to fight for what you want, okay? College is not cheap. First of all, you don't have time or money to be sitting around retaking classes that you're not even failing because of you. There were so many people that I spoke to that I was like, you're retaking that class, blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, yeah, like, it's whatever. I'm just going to retake it. And I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm putting forth my effort. Like, we're taking this to the chair. We're doing something. Try to rally people together to help you fight for your cause. But if it's just got to be you, then it's just got to be you. Because there was a time when in my statics class, we were having so many problems with this professor and people were complaining and I brought it to the chair. And then we finally got a meeting. The chair was like, oh yeah, like we'll have a meeting. You can bring your classmates. We'll talk about it. And I was like, perfect. I sent the information to the group me. Come and express your grievances. We're going to get this solved. And then the night before, I don't know if it was the night before, but the day before the meeting, the chair reached out and was like, yes, I will be inviting the professor to this meeting so that they can hear what's being said about them. When I showed up to that meeting the next day, only like 2 other people were in there. They did that on purpose. But you can't be scared, okay? Because like I said, you're playing with my pockets and my time. I'm coming up there and I'm going to argue till I'm blue in the face. I went in that meeting with the folder with all my tests and timelines from when we had stuff. Like, yes, we in fact did have 3 tests back to back to back because we spent all these weeks on these concepts and then rushed through these ones and had to do all this sort of stuff and blah, blah, blah. You can't let these people intimidate you, because at the end of the day, their intimidation really can't go but so far. Like, if they really retaliate against you for something, then you can take it up even higher, because that shouldn't be happening. And then I was scheduling things like chair visits to the classrooms and stuff. And we had a chair visit one time, and the professor was acting so good that day. I don't know if he got a heads up that the chair was coming, but he was acting so good. And this is a different class, an entirely different class with an entirely different professor. He was acting so good that day. And then the chair got up at the end and was like, well, everything seems to be going fine. All it takes is being the first person to raise your hand. Because after one person was like, this isn't usually how class goes. Everybody in the class raised their hand and was like, no, this is not how this usually goes. This usually happens and this usually happens and all that. And the chair was like, really? Blah, blah, blah. Like, yes.
Yes.
So, I tell you to say the first thing, don't be scared. Fight for it. Don't just sit back and let these people give you the grades that they're giving you and not teach you. A big part about being in college is, yes, teaching yourself and learning on your own and learning how to learn and going the extra mile to make sure that you are successful, because at the end of the day, you are in charge of your education. But that does not mean that your professors don't have to do their job. Their job is to teach. Their job is to be available for office hours. Their job is to make sure that you understand the concepts well enough to pass their tests. Because I can teach myself from the textbook all I want, but have you ever had a professor that was like, oh, I don't believe in the textbook?
What?
So why do I have to buy this textbook for your class, sir? You're not teaching, but I'm teaching myself from this textbook, but I still have to take your test. Make it make sense. So yes, don't be scared. Force these people to do their jobs. I don't care about tenure. I'll go up against a tenured professor all day, every day. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it in front of your boss, how you've been doing us dirty. The next thing, go to office hours. Listen, I have had professors hate me. Hate me. By the time I got to my senior year, I was low-key infamous. Professors knew that I was going to complain if there were problems, and I was going to take it to the chair and the dean and do all of that sort of stuff. And I was fine with that. But try to make them like you. I tried to foster relationships with these professors so that I could see if they were just trying to get me to work hard and earn my grade, or if they were just trying to make me fail. And a way to do that is by attending office hours, is by talking to them before and after class, doing things like that. You have to hold up your end of the couch. But when you see that they're not holding up their end, drop it. Drop it and move forward. Even the professors that hated my guts, I was still very nice and very kind to them, and overly kind and super bubbly, because leading to my next point, don't give them a single reason. Don't give them a reason. One thing that these professors will do is they have a trump card. And that trump card is academic dishonesty. So try not to get caught cheating. Try not to cheat, because that trump card will whoop everything that you have. You could fight until you're blue in the face about how they're not holding up their end of the couch, they're not covering the concepts properly, utilizing the textbook properly, giving fair tests, whatever the case may be. But if you get caught cheating, it's done. Nobody wants to hear your argument. Game over.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
My professor, who was doing a terrible job at teaching us statics, was doing a terrible job at teaching us statics. I had all the examples, all the evidence, took it to who it needed to be taken to. And then the professor came back and said, okay, but they're cheating. Like, basically, I don't have sympathy for students that are cheating and blah, blah, blah. So we had a test, and he brought in like 5, 6, 7 proctors, and they lined the walls and they walked the rows and the aisles, and they caught so many people cheating. And it's just like, y'all, why would you cheat on the day we have 7 proctors? So now that weakens my argument. And then I had to come back and change my argument just a little bit, where I was just like, well, if all these people feel the need to cheat, then it's still your fault, you know? And they weren't trying to hear that, but it's true. But back to what I was saying. To recap, I don't think I went in that hard. I don't know. It's just leaving me. I think it's the trauma causing me to forget what happened to me. But those 4 years, I'll really just say 3 of them, because that was when I was really in my engineering classes, were a dog fight. And it's because some of these professors genuinely want you to fail, and there aren't systems put in place to help students who are struggling. There aren't systems put in place to help build that relationship between professors and students, and there aren't systems put in place to get to the root of problems and fix them. It's like nobody wants to hear anybody out. Professors just look at students as lazy and cheaters and whatever, and can get away with failing hundreds of students each semester, and no students are going to fight back because they think they're going to be retaliated against. They think it's not worth it. Like, they think it's their fault, which it is your fault if you're not studying, if you're not paying attention, if you're skipping class, sleeping in class, not reading your textbook, whatever. It is your fault, and you can take some of that accountability or all of it. But from my experience, I have learned that some of these professors are just evil people. So when you're navigating that, make sure you document everything. Everything. If your professor is teaching one way in class and then they come at you with these wild problems and questions on the test, make sure you're documenting that. If they say they're going to give you a certain amount of time to do something, or they have a deadline until something and they don't follow through with that, make note of that. Have dates and timestamps. Documenting stuff is the key to life. Don't be scared. Do not be scared to go head to head with these professors. That's probably the biggest piece of advice that I can give you, because at the end of the day, they can't kick you out of school for fighting for fairness and for your teachers to teach and like for what's right. Just keep it respectful. Be an adult, but advocate for yourself. Don't let these professors disrespect you. Don't let these professors get away with doing what they've always done. Because when I came in as a freshman, I was talking to seniors who were saying stuff about these professors. And when I got to my senior year, the same stuff was happening. And I'm like, why? Why have I been at this school for 4 years and they're still doing this and nobody's done anything? And if you're the only one doing something, that is fine. It only takes one person to make a change. 2-3 people that came to that meeting, and then from that we formed like the Mechanical Engineering Student Council, where we really tried to make sure that all students in the department were being treated fairly and getting the information that they needed in class and all that sort of stuff. You will find your people who have that same like martyr like character about them. But if it has to just be you, then it just has to be you. The next piece of advice, get with an upperclassman, figure out how you're going to matriculate through this curriculum, talk to upperclassmen about these professors and how to navigate them. Sometimes they're the only people that'll give you the real deal and the best advice for certain professors for how to get on their good side and all that other sort of stuff. And then don't cheat. Or at least be smart about it. Collaboration on homework and stuff like that, but do not go into an exam cheating. You are only killing your argument and making it worse for yourself. I think I covered everything. At the end of the day, I do not regret going to A&T. I got an amazing education and incredible opportunities, walked away with a job, had several internships, took away a lot of valuable technical skills from my classes. Like, I don't regret it at all. And I'm happy with the work that I did and the efforts that I made to improve my department while I was there. But I just want better. I know in our case, it was an issue of just not having staff. Like, you have these same crusty professors that have been teaching here for 30 years. They're tired, they're overworked, they're teaching 3-4 classes. Like, I'm glad that I got that perspective. It doesn't give you an excuse to be evil. And hiring professors and getting them through, HR and all that other sort of stuff, It's a big job. I've never had to do that. I don't know what it's like hiring professors and doing all that mess. But it's just like, I still want better. I don't want excuses. We come to these schools to be treated with respect, be treated fairly, and get opportunities and get an education. And I feel like I did that, but it's just like, I shouldn't have to fight so hard for it. I shouldn't have to fight my professors in every single class. So yeah, if you want to share a horror story about one of your professors, please keep it classy and cute in the comments. But drop the story, or DM me if you want to talk about it more in depth. And especially all of my fellow Aggies, if you are hearing some similar things about what happened to you and you took one of these professors or whatever and know what I'm talking about, of course, slide in my DMs. I love to complain and chat. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you next week.